The first thing everyone remembers is that I ruined Thanksgiving. That morning, I told my wife I didn't want my brother in our house anymore. I didn't yell. I didn't explain. I just said that if he came, I would leave. She stared at me like I'd insulted her family dog. Within an hour, my phone was blowing up. My mom telling me I was being cruel, my dad asking what was wrong with me, my brother sending a text that just said, "Relax." No one asked why. They'd already decided I was the problem. What made it worse was that 3 weeks earlier, I'd still trusted my wife completely. She'd started acting careful. Not distant, not cold, careful. Her phone never left her hand, but she wasn't scrolling. She angled it away from me like it was muscle memory. She'd say she was running errands and come back freshly showered. When I asked if something was wrong, she wrapped her arms around me and said I was her safe place. I wanted that to be true. One night I grabbed her phone to make a business call because mine was dead at the time, and a message popped up from a contact saved as E. Just one sentence. "I miss you already." It shouldn't have meant anything, but my chest tightened in a way I couldn't ignore. I opened the conversation. I kept telling myself I was about to find something that hurt but made sense. Some random guy, maybe an emotional affair. Something painful but survivable. Instead, I saw photos taken in my living room. Inside jokes I'd heard before but never questioned. And then a picture that erased every ounce of denial I had left. My brother's wrist, tattoo and all, resting on my wife's thigh. I sat there for a long time before I confronted her. When I finally did, she didn't scream or deny it. She just made a slight smile, chuckled and said, "Well, I don't have to deal with you anymore." She told me it had been going on for over a year. She said it like it was weather. Like it had just rolled in one day and stayed. What broke me wasn't even the betrayal, it was how calm she was when she explained that Evan understood her in ways I didn't. That he listened. That I'd been emotionally absent without realizing it. She didn't ask me to stay. She talked about the future like I wasn't in it anymore. I left that night with a duffel bag and didn't tell anyone why. Not my parents. Not my friends. Not even my brother. Especially not him. Instead, I watched. I documented messages. I noted dates. I installed cameras in the house I legally owned and forced myself to see what I already knew was happening. My brother walking in like he belonged there. My wife laughing the way she used to laugh with me. The ease of it all hurt more than the sex ever could. What I didn't expect to learn was that they'd been telling a story about me. That I was cold. That I was unstable. That my wife was scared of upsetting me. Suddenly the looks I'd been getting from my family made sense. I wasn't just being difficult. I was the villain in a story I didn't know was being told. When they finally decided to be honest, they framed it like they were doing me a favor. They said they were in love. That they wanted to handle things with maturity and respect. My brother actually thanked me for being understanding. I didn't argue. I just nodded and suggested we still host Thanksgiving. Closure, I said. One last normal moment. They agreed. Everyone came. My parents, aunts, cousins. Laughter filled the house I no longer felt welcome in. When it was time to eat, I stood up and said I wanted to share something before dinner. I connected my phone to the TV. No dramatic speech. Just evidence. Messages. Photos. Dates. Videos. My brother's voice. My wife's laugh. The type of evidence which would crush their made-up story once and for all. A year of lies laid out in silence. My mother covered her mouth. My father didn't look at anyone. My brother tried to speak and couldn't finish a sentence. My wife slid out of her chair and hit the floor. I walked out before anyone could ask me to explain. The divorce was brutal but clean. The prenup held. The house went to me, then I sold it. My wife moved in with Evan. It lasted 3 months before he walked away, apparently shocked that someone capable of betrayal might betray him too. My family doesn't talk about my brother anymore. They talk to me carefully like someone who survived something contagious. I moved. I started therapy. I learned how quiet life can be when you're no longer bracing for the next lie. I met someone later, unexpectedly. She doesn't flinch when I ask questions. She doesn't treat transparency like a burden. When I told her the worst thing that ever happened to me, she didn't try to minimize it or fix it. She just listened. The strangest part is this. Losing my wife and my brother felt like the end of my life at the time. But standing here now, it feels more like the moment I finally stopped living in a story someone else was writing for me. And for the first time, I trust the quiet.